like she was before.
There's a free booklet and poster to accompany this series. Send a large self-addressed envelope stamped with 36p postage to If the Worst Happens, P.O. Box 7, London W3 6XJ.
Oh, here at Noel's Garden Party, things really are at full stretch. The eagerly awaited autumn collection from Prudence Prendergast's wool shop has been raising temperatures. Unfortunately, one member of the Crinkly Bottom Flying Club has already been breathalyzed, and one of the runners in the Crinkly Bottom National has failed a dope test. However, if I've got the torch for the Crinkly Bottom Olympics, I'll be able to start the games. Not that sort of torch. Oh, my goodness.
Join Noel in Crinkly Bottom, Saturday at 6:15 on BBC1.
It's unbelievable.
Guess who's back?
Well, well, well. Good old Lovejoy.
It's absolutely unbelievable.
And suffering the sweet pain of Cupid's arrow?
Isn't that beautiful, Lovejoy?
Ah.
Lovejoy?
Huh?
Lovejoy?
Huh?
The lights are
Oh,
green.
yeah.
Lovejoy returns to BBC1 next Sunday at 7:30.
Fabulous.
In 10 minutes on BBC1, the team from That's Life remembers some of the highlights from last series. First, Cliff Mitchell-Moore and Joanna Kay have the latest charity news in Lifeline.
Hello, welcome back to Lifeline, the monthly charity news bulletin. September the 1st marks the launch of Action for ME Month. ME stands for myalgic encephalomyelitis and means inflammation of the central nervous system and muscles. It's a disease which affects over 150,000 adults and children in Britain, and it leaves many victims permanently affected and some actually disabled. The Action for ME campaign needs volunteers now throughout the country to help with their first ever door-to-door and street collection. They hope to raise the £80,000 needed to set up a national helpline for ME sufferers. Action for ME also needs volunteers for its new buddy scheme, which will relieve the pain of isolation by offering sufferers someone to talk to. If you can spare a few hours, or if you'd like to know more about ME, you can write to Action for ME, Free Post L, Wells, BA5 1XZ. That's Action for ME, Free Post L, Wells, BA5 1XZ. International soccer star Emlyn Hughes is calling on volunteers to help him raise £40,000 for MenCap on Sunday, September the 26th by competing in a unique new event. More than 2,000 runners are needed to join the MenCap ridiculous relay race around London's Battersea Park. Teams of 6 will score points for competing and for the way in which they run, in fancy dress, on stilts or even juggling. Those with the most points will win the chance to go on a parachute or a bungee jump. So if you'd like to join in, you can phone 0891 363 353 for a free information pack. That's 0891 363 353. Joanna.
A sight certainly not to be missed in Battersea Park, I'm sure. On September the 20th, Yorkshire cricket captain Martin Moxon and heart surgeon Duncan Walker will be setting off on a 2-week, 250-mile sponsored walk around Yorkshire and Humberside. Their aim is to raise £100,000 towards a special scanner for the Killingbeck Hospital in Leeds, which is a centre for children's heart surgery for the north of England. The new equipment will give risk group mums-to-be accurate information about the hearts of their offspring as early as 10 weeks into pregnancy. Many celebrities will be joining in for part of the route, and you can join in too. Also, on Sunday the 26th of September, there'll be a special junior trek for children in the grounds of Harwood House. Well, for more information, you can contact Debbie Spivey, the Killingbeck Hospital, York Road, Leeds. That's Debbie Spivey, the Killingbeck Hospital, York Road in Leeds. Exactly 1 year ago on Lifeline, we appealed for funds for the national charity Telephones for the Blind, which believes that the telephone is a necessity, not a luxury, and that no one who is blind should live alone and in isolation. The telephone helps people through emergencies and at other times is an indispensable companion. Well, thanks to your generosity, our appeal raised over £26,000, and this money has been used to provide many more telephones to blind people throughout Britain.
This month's Lifeline appeal is made by John Craven on behalf of the Gardening for Disabled Trust.
A bit of gardening can bring all kinds of benefits. It's relaxing, a chance to unwind from perhaps the pressures of a hard day. And it's also stimulating. It's an opportunity to be both physically active and creative. I suppose that for most of us, gardening is a pursuit that we just take for granted, but it does require a certain amount of agility. And that's something that people with disabilities often don't have. Take, for example, someone in a wheelchair. Now, they could well find the simplest, most basic gardening activity beyond them. For a start, they're way above the flower bed level. The Gardening for Disabled Trust was set up 25 years ago to overcome just these sort of problems. They offer practical help and advice, which often begins with a visit from a member of their team. In addition, they provide financial grants to adapt gardens to meet the special needs of people with disabilities. For example, by creating raised beds, widening paths, and building ramps for wheelchairs. Christine Massey has been an enthusiastic gardener for more than 20 years. But 2 years ago, she was finding it increasingly difficult and was beginning to resign herself to having to give up her favourite hobby.
Just hated to see it in the mess it was in then. I was unable to get up the 4 steps to the garden. Could just about get myself up, but I couldn't get the tools up. Now I'm in the chair more than I used to be, and I find that coming up into the garden, I don't stay in my chair all the time. I can get in and out, move about and do things. There isn't anything now that really I don't think that I can't do. I grow lots of seeds and I take cut-ins, far more than I need. We sell them off as jumbo sales, and it helps to raise some money and it puts something back, you know. I've got other hobbies. I like embroidery, I like sewing, but it can't take the place of the garden.
And the Trust doesn't just help individuals. This is Astor Hall in Plymouth, which offers residential care for people no longer able to cope with living in their own homes. With the aid of volunteers, this garden was transformed from a dull, uncultivated piece of ground into a delightful area which can be used and enjoyed by all the residents.
When you've been gardening for about 50 years and all of a sudden that particular chapter is closed, you think, well, I'll never be able to do that again. I think it's like something like you've been a car driver all your life and you lose your legs and you think, well, I'll never drive a car again. And then you get one with hand controls and you think, oh, that's marvellous. Now, to me, this is marvellous. I can do gardening. The beds are mine. What's created is my creative ideas, nobody else's. To me, it's like giving an artist a blank canvas and saying, paint me a picture. That's my picture.
But it's not just adult gardeners who benefit from the work of the Gardening for Disabled Trust. Here at the Plymouth Child Development Centre, preschool children with a wide range of learning difficulties get great enjoyment and satisfaction from their very own special garden, which was designed and built 2 years ago with help from the Trust.
The children who come here, some are physically disabled, some are able-bodied children. There are cerebral palsy children, partially sighted children who have severe communication disorders, language problems. Everywhere.